Hello everyone and welcome back to Jacqs. Thanks for joining me today. Last year I received the Friends collection from Country Craft Creations. This is a Raggedy Ann and Andy theme paper. It's super adorable. And when I got it, I immediately thought that it would make a really cute card. So what I did was create cut files for a trifold shutter card, but I did it in a odd size. I was going to use it in an album that I was creating at the time. I was making my Harry Potter inspired album, and I was going to insert that as one of the interactive elements, but I decided not to. So today I thought I would come on, share this card with you, and I will have the cut files in my shop available, but I'm going to walk you through how to create it as well. This is how the card works. I'm sure you might be familiar with it. This is not a new card design, it's an old card design. But I thought this would be really cute for Raggedy Ann and Andy. I don't know, just the vintage vibe, I guess. So the way that I created this was using a 10 by 7 cardstock. You're going to need a scoreboard, and we're going to do some scoring with the 10 inches across the top at 1 5/8. Next is 3 3/8. And then what I think is easier is to just rotate your paper all the way around and score again at 1 5/8 and 3 3/8. And that's all the scoring we need to do. Now you're going to need a cutting mat and knife blade. If you have the right kind of cutting board, you will be able to use that. If you can take the tip of the blade and place it anywhere on your paper, for that type of cutting board, you can just use that. But because mine is a slider and it's on a bar, I can't actually tell it to start in the middle of a page. So I'm going to use a knife blade and my ruler. We're going to come down to the 1 5/8 inch score line, and at 1 3/4 inches in, we're going to cut all the way down to the last score line. Okay? Before we move on, I did want to mention two things. Another way to cut these lines is that when you're scoring, you can go in 1 3/4 and down 1 5/8 on the scoreboard and make score lines. Or you can also make your little dot at the top and at the bottom, and then that will help you line everything up with your ruler when you go to cut it. Okay? I just put one at the top because I actually had lines on the back side, so I could see those lines. I'm going to go down to the score line that's going across, and I'm going to measure over 1 3/4 and just put like a little dot. And now what I'm going to do is take my blade and everything looks lined up really well. And I'm going to cut all the way down to the last score line. I'm going to stop right on that score line, okay? Now I have an old blade, so I need to do this again. There we go. And that's all cut. Let's rotate this around, and I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to go to my first score line, measure over 1 3/4, place a little dot, I keep setting that aside like I don't need it, but I need it. I'm going to line this up, making sure it's as straight as I can get it. And then we're going to cut down to the last score line. So what you end up with are 2 cut lines. Now for me, what I did is I used my cut files and I uploaded them to Cricut Design Space, and then I cut out my card design. So now we need to do some folding. So I'm gonna take this and turn to the right side. And I'm going to fold down on the first score line. Just kind of pinch it with your fingers for right now on both sides. Then we're going to go to the next score line and we're going to fold up on this center one like a little mountain, and then we're going to fold back on these score lines on the side. So I'm just coming underneath, pinching those, coming underneath and pinching. Okay. Starting in the middle again, I'm going to again score back on that one. So I'm going underneath, and these on the outside will be folded upward. Now that we have everything folded, we should be able to easily close this. So we just fold up on the folds we just made. And we can go back and burnish everything. So now you have your trifold shutter card. Now we're ready to decorate our card base. And what I've done is I've cut everything out already. I'm going to be using a solid color cardstock as my base piece. And then I'm going to be using the Friends collection to add pattern paper to the tops of those. So the first thing I'm going to give you are the long strips, and I'm going to give you all the measurements, and then I'll glue it all down without talking, but you'll be able to see how I do it either way. Okay, so you're going to need 2 pieces of solid cardstock if you're doing it this way. Now remember, if I'm giving you the measurements for the solid cardstock, if you don't want to double mat those, if you will, you can just turn this into your pattern paper. You don't have to do 2 colors. I just elected to do that since I was doing a white base. Okay, but I wanted the white because it makes the patterns pop. I don't know. So you're going to need 2 solid color cardstocks if you're following along with the way I'm doing it. And these will measure 1 3/8 by 6 3/4. You'll need 2 pattern pieces that measure 1 1/8 by 6 1/2. So these will go out here. These will all have an 1/8 of an inch border around them. If you want a 1/4 of an inch border, you'll need to cut everything down 1/8 of an inch off all sides, okay? Next are these little corner pieces right here. And you're going to need 4 pieces of the solid color cardstock, and these measure 1 3/8 by 1 1/2. And then our pattern paper on top is 1 1/8 by 1 1/4. So these will go in the 4 corners. Now again, I'm just mapping these out to show you, so they won't be exact at this moment. Okay. For the two sides of the center, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. Now this is a little different depending on if you're using my cut files or if you're cutting by hand. If you're cutting by hand, your cardstock will be 1.5 by 3 1/4. Just a slight difference. It's because of the way the base card size is. The pattern paper, again, is slightly different for those that are cutting by hand. Yours will be 1 1/4 by 3. For the center, you're going to need 1 base cardstock that is 3 1/8 by 3 1/4. That will go here. And then our pattern paper is 2 7/8 by 3. Now I cut out the little word, I think it was up here on the front, adventure, and I thought it would just be so cute right underneath there. And for the centerpieces, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 3 1/8 by 1 1/2. And then the pattern paper is 2 7/8 by 1 1/4. Now I think I cut these to show this side, which I like that as well because then your focus is here. But when I cut the paper, like, look how perfect that is. And this one's cut off, but I still think it's adorable. It has the sayings, good friends make every day feel like a play date, which I think is so cute. And this one says, friendship is the greatest treasure found in the toy chest of life. Cute, right? So this is how I think I'm going to glue everything down because I'm just loving the sayings. Now I really don't need the adventure. So I don't know if I should use it or not. Probably don't need it. Even thought about putting it here or here. I don't know. So I'll decide about that later. But so that's how everything looks. Now, I did want to mention the reason why I was going to add this into the album that I was creating was because what I planned to do was use this like a little photo album, because instead of the pattern paper, we would leave these off. We could cut our photos to this size and add it down, or you could use the cardstock size, cut your photo to this size, and add your photos down. Now, how cute would that be to have this little card that opens and shows you all the photos? So I just think there's lots of different options that you can do with this type of card. But right now, what I'm going to do is glue everything together. So I won't talk through this part. Okay, so there I have it. And just gonna pop these back out and give it a fold and a burnish one more time. Uh-oh, I think I might have put that paper on upside down. I do believe I did. Let's see if I can get it up. Did I glue that back down? Oh yeah, it's glued pretty good. Yeah. You know what? It's okay. All good. And to decorate this a little bit more, I added some twine to a little button I had in my stash. I'm just going to adhere it with a glue dot. Right up here in the corner. I think that's so cute. And there we have our little trifold card. Now, of course, if you are going to use this as a card, you can add your sentiment on the back side here. I would maybe put down a color cardstock and then another white cardstock and put your message on it just to give it a little bit of decoration. But that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this. This is super cute. That paper is adorable. So I think I'm definitely going to figure out a way to incorporate this into a folio or a little journal or something, and I'll be back and share that with you. All right, everybody, until next time, happy crafting.